So, hey Libra, my name is Chris, and this is your beautiful reading for whenever you find it, somewhere in 2026. What an intense year. One card wants to come out, that's the Three of Cups. Oops, a celebration. Meeting good people, celebrate with them. Maybe there are people who celebrate you and you're not even aware of, right? Giving you energy, giving you support, giving you love. That's your energy. And the Empress, the beautiful Empress, right, shows up again and again and again. In 2026, throughout the readings, there is the Ten of Cups. Beautiful, beautiful frequency. There is the Chariot. There is the Victory March. Okay. Let's just see what comes up. There is the Justice card. That's 5. There is the, that's the 9 of Cups. How much do we got? 4, 6, 7. And let's just do the shadow aspect, right? There's the 7 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, and we're not avoiding this, right? We're not cheating here. There is the 10 of Pentacles, right? There's the 4 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So the main theme for you, my friend, is meditation, breath work, letting it sink in, processing it, most of all through meditation. If you feel really down, if you feel like there's a lot of going on, overthinking energy, you need to release that through breath work, you know. If you kind of feel charged with negative energy, overthinking energy, anger, sometimes even hatred, right? There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, a lot of ignorance, a lot of fear, guilt, shame, a lot to be angry about. And if we are kind of going deeper into anger, if you're giving it energy, you have to be careful not to end up in hatred. Eventually, this is going to happen. It's a very normal reaction, so don't be too hard on it. But catch yourself if you are in these lower frequencies. That's the 4 of Cups, the 4 of Swords here. And to do that, to be mindful enough to do it, to be able to do it, to make it an automatic background process, right? Meditation is cultivating mindfulness. And through that mindfulness, you catch yourself whenever you're tempted into overthinking, right? Being scared, feeling like an outcast, feeling like you don't belong, worrying about the future, you know, fear, guilt, shame. That's a very strong mindfuck energy that is definitively around. In 2026, in 2025, it was the main energy that we were pretty much bombarded with. But this is 2026, right? You can check out the 2025 reading if you wish to see the frequencies there. But 2026 is a different story. So, but these negative energies, these mindfuck energies, narcissistic energies, antagonistic, toxic energies, they are still around. Worrying too much, overthinking, guilt, fear, shame. These are all frequencies with which you can be easily manipulated. So it is very important that you work with these frequencies, not with these frequencies in particular, but you meditate and do breath work, right? And then you catch yourself when you do it. And having said that, right, that's basically the side story. Yes, it's not yet over, right? It's a process. But boy, oh boy, what do we got here? We got the Justice card, we got the 10 of Pentacles, we got the Victory March, we got the 10 of Cups, we got the Chariot, we got the, and I only have 2 hands, right? We got the Empress, which is all 4 queens rolled into one. This is pretty much you showing up as the Empress, and not just the Empress, but the Empress is the inner frequency, right? It's basically an alchemistic frequency. So you rule yourself. You're not easily manipulated into guilt, fear, shame, anger, frustration, even hatred, something like that. No, you cultivated your inner garden through mindfulness and meditation. And then you just sit there internally. All four queens rolled into one. And the queens is inner mastery. The king is going outward into the world, so to speak, calling the shots, telling what is what. The emperor is pretty much all four kings rolled into one. So he's the ultimate ruler, you know, telling people what to do. The empress on the other side is the internal ruler, so to speak. So you know yourself, you know thyself, right? And this is how you appear to the world, right? Doing your things, being happy, being talented, working with that. You're not wearing a crown here. That's the outside appearance. You're sitting on your wooden bench. You're proud of your achievements, of your cups, of your talents. And there are a lot of people around you. You might not even see them. You might not even be aware of them necessarily. You got a lot of support here, a lot of people who are just supporting you and who are very, maybe even happy that you're there, right? Because their light gets brighter, you know, even if you're not necessarily in the same place, in the same building, or, you know, this goes farther. It's kind of the Indra's net connection, whatever you want to call it. A connection in frequency. There's this concept of the morphogenetic field, for example. So it's not all woo-woo or stuff, right? But if you let your light shine, right? And if you make it about love and abundance and healing, right? And the highest expression of yourself, there are others like you. And if you let your light shine, you're kind of vibing on the same frequency as other people who might do the same. And if we do it together, it gets easier. And the more people who do it, no matter where you are, we're all connected, right? So there is support, even if you might not, you know, you don't need to meet them physically. It would be nice if that would happen. Maybe it's going to happen, right? There's a celebration, but this celebration might be a community in consciousness and spirit. You're just doing your thing. You just focus on your little cups here, right? 9 of Cups, your talents, which you love to do. Do what you love by all means. This is not Pluto in Capricorn. This is Pluto in Aquarius. Big 20-year cycle ahead of us. We're no longer doing what looks good on paper. We're doing what makes sense internally, emotional and spiritually, if you like, you know, Cups energy. You do what you love. And you're coming from a place of inner mastership. You know your shadow aspects. The Empress is not, you know your darkness. You know your shadow aspects, right? And you know your insecurities. You know what you are afraid or feel ashamed about, what you are guilty of, maybe, right? But it is, first of all, about integrating that. And that is the big process that probably happened in 2025 for most of us. If you transcended and integrated your shadow aspects, there you are, the Empress, right? Knowing yourself, all of it, not just the lovey-dovey stuff. And then you got Fortune after difficulty. There's the 10 of Cups. There's the 10 of Pentacles, you know. You're materializing that beautiful life, that beautiful surroundings, this beautiful world, basically, you know. Cups energy is pretty much the ultimate happiness. You're going from the 9 of Cups to the 10 of Cups. There is scarcity. There is feeling like an outcast. But in Pentacles energy, you're jumping right from the 5 of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles. And that 5 of Pentacles energy is kind of connected to the Seven of Swords. So there was some mindfuck energy. Maybe you have been cheated. Maybe you have been mindfucked, you know. I mean, we all have been, right? Coming from 2025, coming from the last developmental cycle, which is the last 9-year or 10-year cycle. Since 2008, pretty much all the freaking time. You name it. But you're materializing, you're manifesting something, you're making something out of it. And the big thing is here, you're not doing it alone. You're connected with like-minded, like-conscient beings, you know? You're not doing this alone. Everything you do in that regard is in a community of people who are on the same frequency. Beautiful. And you always remember that you're not alone. You're not alone. Even if you might be physically separated from other people right now, you're not alone. You're always in this community that is supporting you, and that just vibing on the same frequency. And the most important thing for you to do is to do what you love. This is where your happiness, where your joy, where your fortune of the difficulty is coming from. Not holding on to, you know, there was some mindfuck energy since Pluto in Capricorn since 2008 was pretty much that story, that narrative where we were kind of mindfucked into believing that if we just push harder, if we just give another 10%, if we make it 120%, if we just cut off an arm and a leg, and if we just run even faster, we can make it. Well, that's the lie. The system is not designed for you to make it. The system is designed for you to die trying to make it while others exploit you in the process. This is the mindfuck energy. This is the Seven of Swords energy. And if we buy into that, if we think, oh, it's us, I'm not doing enough, I should be working harder, right? I'm so guilty and ashamed and feeling afraid, you know, guilt, fear, shame, not feeling that good enough, feeling like you don't belong, you know, that's the Five of Pentacles. And this is the mindfuck, right? Telling good people that they are not enough, and exploiting them through guilt, fear, shame, through hatred, through anger, to externalization. You know, there's always a scapegoat. Oh, it's these people and that people, you know. And that's manipulation. That's the mindfuck. But if you carve out space and time in your life, even if you have a day job, right? You carve out. The day job is the necessary part, you know. You need a roof over your head, you need to buy groceries, things like that, right? And a few insurances, yeah, would be nice as well. But then you carve out space and time for what you truly love. And there is your fulfillment with the 10 of Cups. In a mastery, you should already know what you want, what makes sense to you, and what doesn't. And then you're jumping from the Five of Pentacles, which was the mindfuck energy, working harder, you know, die trying, things like that, to a complete different frequency, that of the 10 of Pentacles. You immersing yourself in your own creation by just doing what you love and coming in resonance with those who do the same. Justice in the Victory March, right? There are people celebrating your Victory March, right? And you deserve this. You deserve to be in this Emperor position. And there is, again, I'm not even sure where to put it. There's the Chariot, right? So very fast energy, very supportive energy from the universe, totally on your side. Let's just do a few clarifiers. I think I'm going to do this like that. The Empress is looking for justice, and it's coming in. There's the 9 of Cups connecting the 10 of Cups by the 10 of Cups. So get 2 times the 10 of Cups. Do what you love by all freaking means. That's so very important. You're destined for this. This is your thing to do. And let's just see. Yeah, you're looking for, there's the 2 of Wands, there's the 3 of Wands. That's the 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles is not necessarily the easiest story, is about material wealth. But Ten of Pentacles is much more about you immersing yourself in your own creation. Why? Because you're just doing what makes sense to you, what is totally in resonance with your inner core. Empress, your inner core is cleaned. You know yourself, even your shadow aspects. Nobody can manipulate you by poking towards your guilt, fear, shame, shadow aspects, right? What does that mean? For example, I'm gay, right? So, and in my past, I was very easily triggered. I mean, I'm coming from a time where being gay was pretty much illegal, right? In my own country. So there was a law against that. And you could lose your apartment, you could lose your job, just like freaking that. And they could even say, oh, I'm not, giving a job to a gay person, right? I'm not renting out to a gay person. They could say that, and it was not against the law for them to say that. So you were easily manipulated. You were constantly living in guilt, fear, and shame. And you were easily manipulated through that. Because if anybody found out who you truly were, you were pretty much a slave to them, right? Because you could be blackmailed, you could be pushed into all sorts of BS that they wanted you to do or behave like, Very effed up frequencies. This is over. And this works not just if you're gay, trans, whatever, right? Whatever color of the rainbow you are, if you're not black or white, like in their little world, right? Then you're an outcast. But that's bullshit. Only if we agree to that, only if we buy into that story, it has a hold on us. And thankfully, in this society, we overcame this, and we since then developed a anti-discrimination law and stuff like that, right? So you cannot do that anymore. In the countryside, things are still happening like that. But, it's against the law. And if you really push it, you will get justice, right? There are laws against this. And even if people try to play you on guilt, fear, shame, if you truly love yourself, if you rest within yourself, if you know thyself, literally, you don't care. You just don't care. It's not affecting you. And there might have been something that the narcissist gave you to run in his little treadmill. And I think you're giving it back, or you gave it back, or it was taken from you, right? There's the 5 of Cups at the bottom of the clarifier deck. Good riddance, right? There was something very toxic. Narcissists often give you something. They give you the hamster wheel in which you run for them, right? And you think you're running for your own success, but at the end of the day, you're just producing electricity for them, or I don't know, keep the mill at running or something like that, right? So they give you something so you can run for them and be exploited. And I think you gave that back, or it was taken from you, 5 of Cups. And you might still process that, but big news is good riddance, because there was toxicity connected to that. You're totally in this transformation from realizing you lost something, but you found something much more important, and that is so much better and so much in alignment with who you truly are. Can't even begin to tell you. So 1 Blue Angel Oracle deck card. Let's just see what comes up. Diva Magic. Diva Magic is about, there's a lot of things, right? I can talk about that. But take into consideration the little things, basically. And what you do very practically on a daily basis. How much sugar do you eat? That's not good. Sugary drinks, soft drinks, things like that, right? Leave them away. Not even honey. You don't need to be holier than the Pope, right? But cut down on your sugar. And if you can live without sugar, that's fantastic. Will completely transform your entire metabolism, is that the word, right? Physically, on a physical level, it's good for you. And sugar is taking away energy and minerals and, vitamins, getting it out of your body, actually. That's not good for you. So no sugar, not too much salt. And then just not entertaining BS people, not entertaining toxic people, not even arguing with them, not defending, not engaging, not explaining, not personalizing their BS. Just focus on what you want to create, what makes sense to you, and let them talk. You don't need to listen to them. No is a complete sentence. So these very little things that you can do, your physical fitness, that you do meditation, that you do breath work, that you go for walks, that you go, I don't know, whatever you're doing, right? Riding your bike, swimming, yoga, fitness, sport of sort, whatever. By the way, I'm not promoting yoga on this channel. I'm promoting meditation, a little bit of breath work, right? But the main thing is inner peace and inner steadiness. So nobody can play you and you're resting within yourself. That you can do. And these little things, right, that you do on a daily basis have a huge effect. So don't negate them, don't overlook them. And you could use, I'm not giving medical advice or anything, but I have been taking spirulina, for example. That's an algae, and really radically cut out sugar in my life. No Snickers bar or whatever bar. No, processed food. I mostly eat unprocessed food. It has a huge effect. Trust in the magic. White Raven Spirit. Let's just see what this is all about. That's number 66. And when I'm recording this, it's June the 6th. So it's 66, right? June the 6th. Trust the magic. Nothing in the universe is random. For the intricate web of co-creation, what did I talk about? There are people who are on your side, cheering you on, giving you energy, supporting you through the web, to inverse net, whatever you want to call it. The intricate web of co-creation, right, weaves together all events and has done so since the beginning of time. Coincidences have meaning, and White Raven Spirit appears to remind you to pay attention to these synchronicities so that you might recognize patterns. Even the wind dance in the pattern, participating in the magic of Spirit's plan for all. Align with the highest good and intentions, and you will come to see what White Raven is guiding you. An ally to you and a messenger from Spirit. Align with the light, and you will start to recognize that all is working together harmoniously in ways the eye can't always see and the mind can't always comprehend. The universe is conspiring on your behalf right now, drawing you to the light and bringing you the magic and miracles that are your birthright. Now is the time to trust in the magic of the world that is everywhere in all things. Pay attention to how things come together as if by magic, and you will see the hand of Great Spirit arranging things in your favor. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, Justice, the Victory March, the Chariot, the second time the 10 of Cups, 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands. So it's happening. Just don't buy the BS stories of drama, of guilt, fear, shame, of anger, People are sometimes very gifted to trick you into these frequencies, guilt, fear, shame, anger, and things like that, right? Catch yourself when you absorbing these frequencies, and to do that, mindfulness, breath work, mindfulness developed primarily through meditation every day. Really, that's super important. And that's all I got. And the advice would be to check out the yearly reading, to check out the summer reading. And if you want the full picture, the sun, moon, and rising sign. And that's all I got. Now, goodbye, my friend. See you next time. Ciao.